Hello friends. Now, once a student asked me to explain this term aphasia. And aphasia means, in simple language, it just means a language disorder. Language disorder due to a damage in the brain, especially left side of the brain. See that? Sometimes it happens, you have heard of CV, this a word called CVS, CVS, cerebrovascular accidents. That is CVS, cerebrovascular CVA accidents, yes. Accidents or CVS, that is the short form. Cerebrovascular accidents. Now, this can happen, because of many reasons. As you can see, sometimes it happens is strokes, brain strokes, hemorrhage, yes, accidents, brain tumor, or some diseases of the brain. And then you have other reasons. You have got to say violence, for example, get into violence, falls, yes, falls, accidents, that is any accident can be. So what happens is that because of these things, or you can have narrowing of arteries, taking blood to the brain, obstruction, sometimes it can happen because of cholesterol. These things can happen, or hemorrhage. You have heard of hemorrhage. So any brain damage, especially the left side of the brain, it controls language activities. If anything happens to that part of the brain, then language disorder will be one of the results. 85% cases it is of all aphasia is caused by strokes. Strokes of maybe can be minor, then the result will be, or the consequence will be minor, and so on. Now, aphasia, that means you can see that there is a total damage, for a total disorder, you can see. It's a prefix, aphasia. Or in UK, it's in Britain, they call this dysphasia. Aphasia means total, the damage is total, and the disorder is also total. Dysphasia means partial. But the interesting thing is that, however total is the damage, some ability, some possibility of recovery, not recovery actually, some residue will be left out. Even if total damage, there will be something will be left out. So it doesn't matter whether you use aphasia or dysphasia. The meaning, the difference between a and this is, a means total and this means partial. Whatever happens, is, as I told you, the CVS, these are the reasons for that, but as we have seen, mainly this language disorder is of two kinds. Language disorder due to brain damage are of two kinds. One is comprehension, that is difficult to understand things, comprehend things, difficult to understand, or reception. The other is production. So the possibilities are possible damages that you can see. One is reception, speech reception, the other is speech production. So these are the two areas of language disorder. Also, of course, accompanied by listening disability, writing disability, reading disability, speaking disability, even signing, no, that will be difficult. Understand? Now, the point here is that, see, 90% of cases, don't worry about it, if there is a stroke or anything like that, don't worry much about it, because 90% of cases will automatic recovery, say within 3 months time also, say 90 days also, 3 days, 3 months. But if it is very serious, the recovery will be very slowly, very slow. But the interesting thing again is that we don't know how this happens. How this happens, we have no idea. So far, we have no idea. I don't know now whether there is, we have got knowledge, more knowledge about it or not. But as far as the textbooks that I refer, especially David Crystal and Linguistics by David Crystal, I found that he has written like this. We have no idea how this recovery takes place. Maybe auto, or maybe that nearby cells pick up this ability. As the other day, a zoology teacher, I was talking to a zoology teacher about this, then he said that there is a thing called neuroplasty. That means what happens is that what he told me is this, when there is a demand, then there will be an expansion of the neurons. See, that's one of the reasons we say that after retirement, don't stop your regular activity. After retirement, many people will say, oh, now what is there? And they fall back in an easy chair. Say, taking a newspaper and 10-15 minutes time they will go to sleep. Start dreaming, sweet dreams in old age. Yes. Old age, what sweet dreams you can have, you can imagine. Alright, so what happens is that, if you tax your brain, if you use it, then what happens is there is a phenomenon called neuroplasty. Angioplasty, like the neuroplasty. Now, angioplasty by medical intervention, but this no medical intervention is possible because once you start intervening in your with your brain or doing something with your brain, we don't know what will happen, no idea. As it is said that some people say that our knowledge of the brain is like our knowledge of a postmortem. I don't know whether it is true or not, I don't know. See that, at postmortem level, so to say. Our knowledge of the brain today is at postmortem level. Not a living brain, we cannot do anything so far. This is what the people say. I have no idea about this because I am not a doctor. Okay. And now, as I told you already, this is a language disorder caused by brain damage, and the possibilities are that affects production and reception, comprehension, and also language production. Now, the classical aphasic syndromes, you have got 3 aphasic syndromes, classical. There are many minor ones, but there are 3 aphasic syndromes. For example, you have got one is the difficulty in speaking, what you call expressive or motor aphasia. Expressive or motor aphasia. That is expressive or motor aphasia. Means from there, the very name, difficulty in speaking, expression. It's also known as Broca's aphasia. Broca. That's part of the brain, Broca's aphasia. Big names you can, if you want, you can remember. Otherwise, so remember like this: expressive or motor aphasia. Now that means that's how do you experience it? That's the point now. That is difficulty in speaking. Difficulty in speaking is the problem. So you may not be able to utter syllables, or continuous sentences, or may not be clear, see difficulty in speaking, or you might difficult for you to coordinate your ideas and your thoughts. So these are the, but as I told you already, there is a hope. In 90 days time you will recover. Understand? The second one is receptive or sensory aphasia. Receptive or sensory aphasia. And now that one is about speaking, the first one is about speaking, the second one is about reception, comprehension. Difficult, no? Comprehension. I told you there are two problems people who suffer from brain damage. One is speaking problem, the other is reception problem. You say you tell them something, for them it is very difficult to. People who suffer from this second type, that is receptive or sensory, I just say a medical name, that is a Wernicke's aphasia. Wernicke's aphasia. So that's a scientific name if you want to. This is our popular Wernicke, W-E-R-N-I-C-K-E apostrophe S. W-E-R, you have got N-I-C-K-E apostrophe S, Wernicke. That is that part of the brain name, Wernicke's aphasia, or you can say receptive or sensory aphasia. That is severe disturbance of comprehension. So you may not be able to understand syllable by syllable, word by word, and also cannot make out what is happening. But this is not something like dementia. That is, you know, your memory loss. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is temporary, and also it will, as we have already said, 3 months time you will record this. Then there is another, the third one is syndrome is global aphasia. Global aphasia is both together, comprehension and speaking, spoken and written. All aspects of spoken and written, or all aspects of reception and production. And usually what happens, it's a very sad story. People who suffer from this very sad story, that is, this is irreversible. 99.9% it is irreversible. That's what textbooks say, because I am not an expert in this now, so that's I have to depend upon the textbook. So this is what is meant by aphasia. A learning disability, in simple language, it means a learning disability, or learning disorder. That is, disability will be dyslexia and so on. This is a learning disorder or language disorder, not learning disorder, sorry, a language disorder that is caused by brain damage. So it depends on the extent of the brain damage. If it is, say, minor, the situation also, the consequence also will be minor. The condition will be minor condition. If it is very serious, say a hemorrhage, a massive hemorrhage, the entire brain is bathed in blood, and then in that case what happens is that, of course, 70 to 80% cases such people die. Otherwise there will be a total blackout of speech, and also speech production and speech reception. In other words, and the sad story about that is, if the patient recovers also, the condition will be irreversible. Understand? Somebody, as I told you, the reason why I am explaining this is, a student wrote to me saying that, sir, please explain what is aphasia. It's as simple as that. In a very simple language to put, it is a language disorder caused by an injury to the brain. Injury to the brain can be, or damage to the brain can be caused by, say, accidents, hemorrhage, then you have got strokes and other things. Diseases of the brain, you have tumor is there, tumor, cancerous tumors, no? Yes, then you have got accidents, that is CVS, no, CVS, that is what we say, cerebrovascular accidents. So in general terms you can say, in one sentence if you want to say what is this, you can say language disorder caused by cerebrovascular accidents resulting in comprehension and also production. That's all. If you want further explain, you can explain like this. That is, what is CVS, what are the effects, and what are the consequences, what are the various causes and so on. I hope it is clear to you. I have tried to explain this as clearly as I can. Hope you have understood this, and of course I always say you might be enjoying my classes. So I hoping on this optimistic note, today we will say bye and see you again with another concept. Alright? Bye.